So it is not that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura didn't preach that the topic of the Rag Bhajan and all these things. Certainly he preached these things. But it should be seen that for the most part he presented Krishna consciousness in a subversive way, in a way so as to undermine the materiality of the contaminated consciousness of persons of lesser eligibility who are actually incapable of appreciating and doing justice to the topics of the higher esoteric leelas of the Lord. We should understand that when the Nitya Parikar of Radha and Krishna appear in this world, they do so by appearing in a disguised form. This is Mani Manjari's disguise, to appear within this world as an ordinary human being. She has appeared in the form in her Acharya Swarup as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura. So those who have a little insight regarding these things, when they will hear the kathas coming from the Guru Mukha Padma of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, they will link that katha, they will see as if it was Mani Manjari's intention to speak these words for the benefit of the fallen conditioned souls as an agent of Srimati Radharani, who appeared in this world as Lord Gaurasundar to bless the fallen conditioned souls with the never before attainable loving services at the lotus feet of Sri Radhika. So Nayan Mani Manjari, she is actually, although generally Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, he generally revealed to the world his Shiksha relationship or Bhagavad relationship with Rupa Goswami. This is to, let's say, offer importance, a sense of importance, to emphasize the importance of adhering to the Bhagavad Dharma, because in many sampradayas or apasampradayas, as it were, the followers of those sects would claim Siddha Pranali and all these things, but they would resort to various nefarious activities as debauchery and intoxication and of various sorts. So Bhaktisiddhanta's main purpose in preaching prominently preaching the importance of the dissemination of Bhagavad Gita was to teach the importance of adhering to the principles of Bhagavad Dharma. What is the use of your so-called Siddha Pranali if we do not adhere to the principles of Bhagavad Dharma as presented by the topmost father of devotional service, Srila Rupa Goswami? Without being Rupanuga Vaishnava, really no one can claim to be a perfect, in the present day, no one can claim to be a perfect Gaudiya Vaishnava without following the principles of Rupa and Raghunath. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada didn't reveal at that time his Diksha Pranali, but rather gave stress to the importance, just as our Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, that there are two margs, the Pancharatrika marg and the Bhagavad marg, as Purnachandra Prabhu was mentioning earlier also, that in the Bhagavad marg there are various rules or vidhis in the matter of the cultivation of Bhagavad Dharma. And in the Pancharatrika marg there are also vidhis. So, but if we are to choose between one or the other, if we're forced to choose between the vidhis in the Pancharatrika marg and the vidhis in the Bhagavad marg, then we should relinquish, if required to relinquish one or the other, we should relinquish the Pancharatrika vidhis. But we should never relinquish the Bhagavad vidhis. We should remember, always remember, that Maharaj Parikshit, he was not the Diksha disciple of Shukadev Goswami. And Shukadev Goswami was not the Diksha Guru of Maharaj Parikshit. But, in spite of that, it is mentioned by our Gaudiya Acharyas that Maharaj Parikshit is the example of one who attained perfection. He attained the highest perfection by hearing. And Shukadev Goswami attained the highest perfection by chanting. It is mentioned like that. Although we understand Shukadev Goswami also is the manifestation of Radharani's pet parrot. But there was another Shukadev amalgamated, another personality. In other words, just like in the Gaur Lila, there are sometimes it is seen that in one Sarup many different persons may be amalgamated. Amalgamated meaning that they're all residing, the various tattvas, various personalities, let's say, who are manifestations of various Shaktis of Krishna, are residing within one Sarup. We see that Drona and Dara, they merged in the Nanda Yasoda Sarup to have experience of the bhavas of Nanda and Yashoda. So similarly, there's a history, which we're not going to get into, that there was a impersonal personality, Shukadev. But Radharani's parrot was never impersonal. So it was the impersonalist who attained perfection. An impersonal a person who was a Brahmavadi, who was merged in that Sarup, who attained perfection. So we can see as simultaneous Sadhan Siddha and Nitya Siddha. So anyhow, the function of Bhagavad Dharma is of paramount importance. Therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura practically exclusively propagated Bhagavad Dharma, and as you see on even our altar here, because his principle was followed by our Srila Prabhupada, you will see that the Guru Parampara that is set up here, this is not our Diksha Parampara, but this is our Bhagavad Parampara. Even in the matter of worshipping the deity, the installation of our Krishna Balaram and Radha Shyam and Gaurnitai, Prabhupada told that the real installation was Hari Kirtan, Harinam Samkirtan. That was the real process by which they were installed. And in truth, it is the real process by which they are worshipped. The real process by which the Lord of all sacrifices, who has appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is worshipped in this age of Kali. What is that process? Nam Sankirtan, Hari Nam Sankirtan, not any Nam, but Hari Nam Sankirtan, Hare Krishna Nam Sankirtan, especially. Krishna Barna Tusha Krishna, Sango Pangastra Parshadam, Jagyai Samkirtana Prayar, Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. Those who have good brain substance will understand that it is by this Samkirtan Jagya that the Lord of sacrifices, the Jagya Purush, the enjoyer, the Bhokta, Bhoktaram Jagya Tapasam, this Samkirtan Jagya, that Bhokta, the enjoyer of the Kali Yuga Dharma, Nam Samkirtan, that he is satisfied by this performance of Harinam Samkirtan. So, therefore, we see in our line, we give deference to the Bhagavad system, of which this Harinam Samkirtan is a part. However, at the same time, we should not be in the illusion, as some people are, that our Diksha Sampradaya is in any way discrepant or faulty. We do have our Diksha Sampradaya. We do have our Siddha Pranali. And that Diksha Sampradaya is coming from Nityananda, Janava Nitai, down through Bir Chandra Prabhu, to Nimai Chand Goswami, to Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. We should note that although sometimes just, let's say, to simplify the explanation, and also it has its validity, but it is mentioned that because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bimla Prasad, was the son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, therefore there would be some impropriety in the son taking the diksha from the father. But actually, the purpose as far as that goes, because actually there's no real impropriety, because Narada took diksha from Brahma. And there are many, many, many other examples of fathers giving diksha, giving the diksha mantras to their sons. When we say diksha, it means mantra diksha. And when we say diksha pranali, or diksha parampara, or diksha sampradaya, without receiving mantra through sampradaya, bona fide sampradaya, then that chanting of the mantra will bear no fruit. Nishpala, no fruit. So, must be that if we're to have a bona fide diksha, do you think that this ISKCON movement is just making a show bottle, diksha program to dupe the followers into thinking that they're getting something, real, so as to solidify their faith until they find out that it's not real from the Babajis? So then everyone becomes, let's say, disturbed in their faith by hearing from certain Babajis. A few of them are there at Radhakund, who say that Bhaktisiddhanta's Sampradaya or the Saraswat line is invalid because they have no Diksha Sampradaya. Because when they look, if you will look at the pictures on the altar, you will see that, okay, legitimately speaking, we can say that we've taken our Diksha mantra. Diksha mantra means Gayatri mantras. So we've received our Gayatri mantras. I received my Gayatri mantra from Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada received his Gayatri mantram from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur received his Gayatri mantram. Of course, there's some foolish people who enviously say that he also did not do that even. But we don't care for their so-called, the way they write the history books. Because they weren't there to see. We accept our authority. No need to say, listen to everyone. If our authority, if Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and our Srila Prabhupada admit that on a particular day at Sarabi Kunj, at Bhaktivinoda Thakur's place, Gorkashore Das Babaji Maharaj came the very same day that he threw dust in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's face, telling to him that for you, this is my Diksha. You may not be knowing, but one Nitai Das Babaji Maharaj, he was present at that time, and he reported this incident to many of the Radhakund Babas, and they're all of this opinion. But it's just like if I'm the example is given for another purpose, but we can use the same example, that if the king sends his 3 servants, out to to report to him what is a train, and one sees the light coming down the track, and then he runs back to the king. But he didn't wait. He wasn't around long enough, to see that later on, the train pulls into the station, and then he gets a clear idea of what's going on. So similarly, Nitai Das Babaji Maharaj, obviously, he saw this one incident, and he concluded that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura's claim to Diksha from Gorkashore Das Babaji Maharaj, that his claim is bogus, so he says, because throwing dust in the face is not a bona fide process of, giving Diksha. Diksha means the transmission of transcendental knowledge in codified form via media, the Kama Gayatri and Kama Bij particularly. So the mantra, which let's say when purely disseminated, enlivens the aspirant with Prema Bhakti Shakti. That mantra is, the reception of that mantra is Diksha, when it is received from a powerful spiritual master, Mahabhagavat. So anyhow, many people in various ways want to claim, but it is quite a fact that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that we are having bona fide Diksha to the extent that we are receptive, to that extent we can say that our Diksha is, not farcical, and to the extent that we are empowered, to that extent we can say that we have the adhikar to give the bona fide Diksha. As it is coming, the mantras are coming in an unbroken chain of disciplic succession from Lord Nityananda. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it is not only that he just did not want to, or that he wanted to, rectify a particular overstress on Jati Sampradaya, which was going on at that time, because Jati Sampradaya means seminal Sampradaya, that there's the father who was born in the line of Nityananda Vangsa, that these people who has taken birth from he who has taken birth, this family line. They call it as parivar. But we don't recognize, although that may also be valid to the extent that the power of the mantra and the purity of the individuals coming in that line, because it is a fact that the dissemination of mantram is not dependent on material time, space, and circumstance. So whether someone is a father or a son, that is immaterial. Whether he's father and son or whether he's not father and son, the dissemination of mantram, just like Nityananda disseminated the mantra to his son Birchandra, from whom we're getting our mantram. So it is not that just that because someone has whose father that he's the son of a Vaishnava, that he cannot receive mantra from his father, but to reverse the the over stress on such external things. Because coming in the family line, the establishment of sampradaya as per seminal parivar, that is external thing. The internal thing is the power, the Shakti, the Bhakti Shakti, which is coming in the form of the Shabda Brahman, which is disseminated via media Mantra Diksha. So that is as far as Mantra Diksha is concerned. So, but we should also mark that it was not so much that reason why Bhaktisiddhanta was instructed to go to Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Rather, there's another reason, which in certain respects may be considered as a more important reason, which we will divulge at this point. I hope that no one is angry at me for this. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, one time, Bhaktivinoda Thakura's Diksha Guru, Bipin Bihari Goswami, came to Bhaktivinoda Thakura's house, and he placed his feet, as the Guru might do, on the head of Bhaktivinoda Thakura. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did not take that lightly. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bimala Prasad at that time, he told off, telling that you don't know who is this person. He is not an ordinary person of this world, but he is a Nitya Parikar of Radha and Krishna. He is not a sadhaka who requires your blessings. And he also noted, Bhaktisiddhanta also noted, that in the mentality as was expressed at a certain instance, Bipin Bihari Goswami, he told that because we are Brahmanas and Raghunath Das Goswami is of the Kayastha class, isn't it? Was it Kayastha class? I think so. So he will have to take blessings from us. That didn't go over very big with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He didn't appreciate it. Rather, he saw it as a discrepancy in the devotional attitude. He saw that there was some caste consciousness manifesting in the words of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Guru, the would-be Param Guru, if he were to take the Diksha from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur understood this lack of faith in Bipin Bihari Goswami on the part of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bimala Prasad at that time. So he directed him to go to the feet of Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj because Gorkashore Das Babaji Maharaj, you will find that it is very, let's say, it is a very useful point as far as